Hello and welcome to another video for Menace Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now quite old. And these figures are becoming more and more collectible and increasingly difficult to find, especially in this mint unopened condition. We are looking at the 1999 release by Hasbro from their Star Wars Episode 1 series of 4-inch action figures. Now, this particular range of action figures are the figures that came with the Comm Talk Chips. And the Comm Talk Chips, basically, if you bought a reader and you could put the chips onto the reader and have your figure talk dialogue from the movie. So that was what the Comm Talk Chips were all about. And obviously this was all based on the Star Wars prequel first movie, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which was a American epic space opera film. It was written and directed by George Lucas. George Lucas had wrote the original trilogy of Star Wars movies, and this was the prequel to those original 3 films that had been made in 1977 through to 1983. There's an all-star cast in this movie. So you had Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Jake Lloyd, Ahmed Best, Ian McDiarmid, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Pernilla August, Frank Oz. They're all famous actors and actresses who starred in this movie, and also starred in the other 2 as well. It's the 4th film in the Star Wars film series, but the first film of the prequel trilogy, and the first chronology chapter of what has become known as the Skywalker saga. The film was released in May 1999. It ran for a little over 2 hours, I think 2 hours and 14 minutes, something like that. The budget for the movie was $115 million, and it netted back at the box office $1.047 billion. So a huge return. The movie is set 32 years before the original trilogy, which is 13 years before the formation of the Galactic Empire. Now, during the era of the Galactic Empire, the plot follows the Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi as they try to protect Padme Amidala of Naboo in their bid to help resolve an interplanetary trade dispute. Now, they're joined by young Anakin Skywalker, who's a young slave boy with strong abilities in the Force, and they simultaneously contend with the mysterious return of the Sith in the form of Darth Maul. Anyway, that's the movie. I'm sure you all seen the movie, you know all about it, but here we are. So this is the figure in front of us, and this figure is of none other than Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was then the Padawan of Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, this is the card it comes in. Now, there is a little bit of creasing to this card because of the way it was stored in a shop stock room. There was a whole pile of these figures that were unsold, and they were just all bundled into a box in the stock room and loads of things put on top of it. And as a result, this card is a little bit creased. I've tried to straighten it out as best we can, but there we are. Anyway, so you've got that image of Darth Maul on the top left-hand corner, and it says Star Wars Episode 1. And you can see it says Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it says Comm Talk Chip. Now your figures talk. Through a special reader, see back for details. And yeah, the rest of that is in foreign language. And it's at the bottom, it's got collection 1, assortment number 84085, and it's item number 848114. You've got the Hasbro logo on the bottom there as well. If I turn the card around to the back, and it says, you got Star Wars Episode 1 logo at the top corner there. It says, a young Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi and his mentor Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn help Queen Amidala and her forces in their attempt to... what does that say? I can't quite see what that says. Oh, their attempt to liberate the planet Naboo from overwhelming onslaught of by the Trade Federation. And it says Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi's Comm Talk Chip lines from the movie are: how do you think this Trade Viceroy will deal with the Chancellor's demands? Yes, Master. Master destroys. They have shield generators. Master destroyers. They have shield generators. It's an invasion army. And the chip also interacts with the Qui-Gon Jinn chip. So if you put them together, like you see on the picture here, so you've got Obi-Wan standing on the chip and the chip is on the reader. And it interacts with the Qui-Gon figure. And it says, Comm Talk Reader. Star Wars action figures will never be the same. Your Star Wars Episode 1 figures have the ability to speak. The Comm Talk chip that comes with each figure and the Comm Talk reader sold separately gives you the power. Simply touch each figure's Comm Talk chip to the Comm Talk reader to hear your figure speak lines. Some will even interact with other figures. Now the Force is with you. There we are. Interesting. And then you got all Comm Talk information, the copyright information, the licensing information at the bottom of the card there. There was 10 Hasbro points on this. Back then, if you saved up the Hasbro points, you could get a free figure. Official Star Wars website there, and you've got the CE and all the usual markings there, along with the Hasbro logo. Okay, that's the back of the card. Let's turn it back around and let's have a look at Obi-Wan himself. Okay, so I've zoomed right in on Obi-Wan Kenobi. You can see, obviously, it's still attached to the card, so I can't actually remove him from the card because then he's obviously going to be open and be a used figure. But you can see, well, that's the sculpting for Obi-Wan, and that's the face of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Do they look alike? Do they look like the same person? I'm not so sure. Really, for me, the sculpting just isn't quite there. They just haven't got it right here. Despite the fact the rest of the figure is very good, the sculpting of Obi-Wan Kenobi's face I really don't think is right. It's off a little bit, but there we are. That was 1999. In the 26 years since then, technology has moved on tremendously, and the sculptures and facial features on figures these days is absolutely brilliant. It's a shame it wasn't around back then, but even so, great figures. And he obviously comes with his lightsaber, and he's got two versions of that. So one is just the lightsaber hilt, and the other one is the lightsaber with the blade out, which he uses to battle with Darth Maul. So there you can see him in his Jedi robes and his Jedi cloak. And there's got Obi-Wan Kenobi at the bottom there. And there is also his Comm Talk chip. And if we zoom in on that, you can see that's got the image of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that goes on the Comm Talk reader, and Obi-Wan Kenobi will stand on top of it, and you'll hear him speak those lines as was said. And don't forget the interaction with Qui-Gon Jinn if you have the Qui-Gon Jinn figure as well. Okay, let's have a quick measurement of the figure. As it says, it's 4 inches. Is that correct? Yeah, 4 inches. Pretty bang on 4 inches that is there, which in turn is 10 centimeters. If we measure across him, is 4 centimeters, and if we measure the depth, we're looking at about 2 centimeters. So that gives you an idea of the size of the figure. And of course, the lightsaber there with the blade extended is 7 centimeters, and the one there with no blade, we're looking at 2 centimeters. So there we are. Now, articulation wise on these, it wasn't exactly great. And obviously I can't take him out, but I've got my trusted Stormtrooper figure here, and they all seem to have the same articulation. You can see that there's no articulation on the elbow joints. It's literally just on the arms and shoulders, the neck, and the legs pretty much the same as the Power of the Force figures. So I didn't know nothing other than the arms go up and down, the head goes from side to side, the waist turns. I'm not sure if his waist does because he's got that cloak on, and the legs go up and down, as you can see. So the articulation is pretty much the same. These were the same size figures, so I'm assuming that it's all the same there. So that is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, how well did these figures do back in the day, I hear you ask? Well, new Star Wars film, new Star Wars characters, new Star Wars ships, new Star Wars everything. Colossal amount of figures were produced for these particular movie. So much ships were produced, merchandise, all sorts of things. It was huge. It was a massive amount. They've probably done an overkill on these. They probably produced far too many. And there was obviously these ones. There was the ones with the Comm Talk Chips. There was ones without the Comm Talk Chips. There was box sets. There was all sorts of figures that they did on this episode 1 range. And yes, they sold phenomenally well. But I think because of the quantity of figures that they produced, they really went overkill on these figures, and they produced so many. So the collectability on these figures, yes, they're collectible, but these haven't really gone up in value because of the fact there's so many of them that were produced. So they're very easily to pick up, or there was very easy to pick up. They are becoming a little bit more harder these days to find, especially in this mint seal condition. You can pick up figures left, right and centre on the platforms, loose figures, but find them like this in this condition is not quite as easy as it once was. So yes, Hasbro done their part. They produced these figures in massive quantities and they sold very well. However, obviously, because of the quantities nowadays, and we're moving forward now to 26 years to 2025, where we are today, these still come up regularly on the platforms. More so, some figures more so than others, probably because of the way the numbers were run, and perhaps because of the lesser characters. The popular characters will probably have more figures run, which is why they appear more often on the platforms, like your Obi-Wans and your Darth Mauls and your Anakin Skywalker. Those ones keep coming up on the platforms because obviously they were in higher numbers. Ones with the Comm Talk Chips, a little bit less. You see them a little bit less, but again, they do still pop up from time to time. So yes, they do still come up on the platforms. Again, the usual thing on the platform scenario, be careful because some of the platforms use stock images and stock descriptions, and obviously someone's idea of very good condition could be somebody else's idea of acceptable condition. Big scope for difference there. So again, just be careful of that, and make sure you have a good read of what you're about to order rather than just look at the stock pages, because you could end up with something that you don't want. Or alternatively, you can come to us at Midas Touch Toys and Collectibles, where what you see in front of you is exactly the item you get. We do not use stock images and stock photographs. If we have different quality or different conditions, they are under different product numbers, so you cannot mix them up. And there was probably 2 or 3 full boxes full of these figures. From a shop that we bought out all their stock for, and we are working on making all these figures available to our customers on the Midas Touch website. And if this is something that you would like, you can get to the Midas Touch website very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight there, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Wars items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that, there's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody. I'm absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful Obi-Wan Kenobi action figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.